The Book of Sirach, also known as Ecclesiasticus, Chapter 36. Show favor upon us, O Yahuwah Elohim of all, and look on us, and send your fear upon all the nations that do not seek you. Lift up your hand against the foreign nations, and let them see your strength. As you were kadosh in us before them, so you be exalted among them before us, and let them know you, as we have known you, that there is no Elohim but you alone, O Elohim. Show new signs and make other awesome wonders. Esteem your hand and your right arm, that they may put forth your wondrous works. Rise up displeasure and pour out wrath. Remove the adversary and destroy the enemy. Shorten the time, remember the covenant, and let them declare your wonders. Let he who escapes be consumed by the rage of the fire, and let those who oppress the people perish. Crush the heads of the rulers of the Gentiles that say, there is no one else but us. Gather all the tribes of Jacob together, your inheritance as from the beginning. O Yahuwah, show favor upon the people that are called by your name, and upon Yisrael, whom you have named your firstborn. O be kind to Jerusalem, your Kodesh city, the place of your rest. Fill Zion with your unspeakable words, and your people with your esteem. Give witness to those who you have possessed from the beginning, and raise up Nebaim that are for your name. Reward those who wait for you, and let your Nebaim be found trustworthy. O Yahuwah, hear the prayer of your servants, according to the Barakah of Aharon over your people, that all those who dwell on the earth may know that you are Yahuwah, the Elohim of old. The stomach consumes all foods, yet one meat is better than another. As the mouth tastes different kinds of game, so does a heart of understanding false speeches. A crooked heart causes grief, but a man of experience shall repay him. A woman shall accept any man, yet one daughter is better than another. The loveliness of a woman cheers the face, and there is not a man loves better. If there is kindness, meekness, and comfort in her tongue, then her husband is not like other men. He who acquires a wife begins a possession, a help like himself, and a pillar of rest. Where no wall is, there possessions are plundered. And he who has no wife shall wander about sighing. Who shall trust a crafty thief that skips from city to city? Even so a man that has no house and lodges wherever the night takes him. Chapter 37. Every friend says, I am his friend also, but there is a friend which is only a friend in name. Is it not a grief unto death when a companion and friend is turned to an enemy? O wicked thoughts, where have you come from, to cover the earth with deceit? There is a companion who rejoices in the prosperity of a friend, but in the time of trouble shall be against him. There is a companion who helps his friend for his stomach, and takes up a shield against the enemy. Do not forget your friend in your heart, and do not forget him in your wealth. Every counselor extols counsel, but some who counsel for themselves. Beware of a counselor, and know before what need he has, for he shall counsel for himself, and cast the lot against you, and say to you, your way is good, and afterward stand on the other side to see what shall befall you. Do not consult with one that suspects you, and hide your counsel from those who envy you, nor consult with a woman regarding she, of whom she is jealous, nor with a coward in matters of battle, nor with a merchant concerning exchange, nor with a buyer about selling, nor with an envious man about thankfulness, nor with a ruthless man regarding kindness, nor with the lazy for any work, nor with a yearly hired man about finishing work, nor with an idle servant of much business. Do not listen to these in any matter of counsel, but be continually with the reverent man, whom you know to guard the commands of Yahuwah, whose mind is according to your mind, and shall grieve with you if you fail. And let the counsel of your own heart stand, for there is no man more trustworthy to you than it. For the mind of a man sometimes tells him more than 7 watchmen that sit above in a high tower. And above all this, pray to the Most High, that he directs your way in truth. Let reason go before every work, and counsel before every action. The face is a sign of changing of the heart. 4 ways of all are apparent, good and evil, life and death, but the tongue rules over them continually. There is one who is wise and teaches many, and yet does not profit himself. There is one who shows wisdom in words, and is hated. He shall be destitute of all food. For favor is not given to him from Yahuwah, because he has neglected all wisdom. Another is wise to himself, and the fruits of understanding are as praise in his mouth. A wise man instructs his people, and the fruits of his understanding do not fail. A wise man shall be filled with Baruchoth, and all those who see him shall regard him as Baruch. The days of the life of man may be numbered, but the days of Yisrael are without number. A wise man shall inherit esteem among his people, and his name shall be forever. My son, prove your being in your life, and see what is evil for it, and do not give into it. For not all is profitable for all men, nor has every being pleasure in every matter. Do not be gluttonous in any delicacy, nor too greedy with food. For excess of food brings sickness, and gluttony shall turn to disgust. Many have perished by gluttony, but he who guards himself prolongs his life. Chapter 38. Esteem a physician with the esteem due to him, for the uses which you may have for him, for Yahuwah has created him. For healing comes from the Most High, and he shall receive esteem from the Sovereign. The skill of the physician shall raise his head, and in the sight of great men he shall be admired. Yahuwah has created medicines out of the earth, and he who is wise does not reject them. Was not the water made sweet with wood, that its power might be known? And he has given men skill, that he might be esteemed by his marvelous works. With such he heals and takes away their pains, or such the perfumer makes a perfume, and of his works there is no end. And from him there is shalom over all the earth. My son, in your sickness do not be slack, but pray to Yahuwah, and he shall heal you. Cease from sin, and order your hands well, and cleanse your heart from all wickedness. Offer a sweet fragrance and a remembrance of fine flour, and make an offering of fat of your being. So give place to the physician, for Yahuwah has created him. Do not let him leave you, for you have need of him. There is a time when there is good success in their hands, for they shall also pray to Yahuwah, that he would prosper that which they give, for ease and health to prolong life. He who sins before his Maker, let him fall in the hand of the physician. My son, let tears fall down over the dead, and begin to lament, as if you had suffered great harm yourself. And then cover his body according to the custom, and do not neglect his burial. Weep bitterly, and make a great mourning with lamentation, as he is worthy, and that a day or two, lest you are spoken evil of, and then comfort yourself for your grief. For from grief comes death, and heaviness of the heart destroys strength. In affliction sorrow also remains, and the life of the poor is the curse of the heart. Take no grief to heart, drive it away, and remember the latter end. Do not forget it, for there is no returning again. You shall do him no good, but harm yourself. Remember my judgment, for so shall yours be also, yesterday for me, and today for you. When the dead is at rest, let his remembrance rest, and be comforted for him when his spirit has departed from him. The wisdom of a learned man comes by opportunity of leisure, and he who has little business may become wise. How shall he who holds the plow attain wisdom, and who sharpens the goad, who drives oxen, and is occupied in their labor, and whose talk is of bulls? He gives his mind to making furrows, and is diligent to give the cattle fodder. So every carpenter and worker that labors night and day, and those who cut and engrave seals, and are diligent to make great variety, and give themselves to copy imagery, and watch to finish a work. Also the smith sitting by the anvil, and considering the iron work. The smoke of the fire weakens his flesh, and he fights the heat of the furnace. The noise of the hammer and the anvil is constantly in his ears, and his eyes are fixed on the pattern of that which he makes. He applies his mind to finish his work, and watches to polish it perfectly. So the potter sits at his work, and turns the wheel around with his feet, who is always focused at his work, and makes all his work by number. He molds the clay with his arm, and bows down his strength before his feet. He applies himself to the glazing, and he is diligent to clean the furnace. And all these rely on their hands, and everyone is skilled in his work. Without these a city cannot be inhabited, and they cannot dwell where they do, nor go up and down. They shall not be sought in public council, nor sit high in the assembly. They shall not sit on the seat of judges, nor understand the ruling of judgment. They cannot declare righteousness and right ruling, and they shall not be found where parables are spoken. But they maintain the face of the world, and their desire is in the work of their craft. Chapter 39. But he who gives his mind to the law of the Most High, and is occupied in the study of it, seeks out of all the ancient wisdom, and is occupied in Nebuoth. He guards the sayings of the men of name, and where wise parables are, he shall be there also. He shall seek out the secrets of proverbs, and speak of hidden parables. He shall serve among great men, and appear before princes. He shall travel through foreign countries, for he has examined the good and the evil among men. He applies his heart early to look to Yahuwah who made him, and shall pray before the Most High, and opens his mouth in prayer, and makes supplication for his sins. When Yahuwah the Almighty acts, he shall be filled with the spirit of understanding. He shall pour out wise sayings, and give thanks to Yahuwah his prayer. He shall guide his counsel in knowledge, and on his secrets he meditates. He reveals that which he has learned, and shall boast in the law of the covenant of Yahuwah. Many shall commend his understanding, and as long as the world endures, it shall not be blotted out. His remembrance shall not depart, and his name shall live from generation to generation. Nations shall speak of his wisdom, and the assembly shall declare him Baruch. If he dies, he shall leave a greater name than 1,000, and if he lives, he shall increase it. Yet I have more to say, which I have thought upon, for I am filled as at the full moon. Listen to me, you Kodesh children, and bud as a rose of the field growing by the wadi, and give a sweet fragrance as frankincense, and flourish as a lily. Send out a fragrance and sing a song of praise. Barak Yahuwah in all his works. Exalt his name and extol his praise with the songs of your lips and with harps, and in praising him you shall say after this manner, all the works of Yahuwah are exceedingly good, and whatever he commands shall be accomplished in due season. And none shall say, what is this? Why is that? For at an appropriate time they shall all be sought out. At his command the waters stood as a heap, and the reservoir of waters at the words of his mouth. Whatever pleases him is done at his command, and none reverses his deliverance. The works of all flesh are before him, and there is none hidden from his eyes. He sees from everlasting to everlasting, and there is no matter too marvelous for him. A man need not say, what is this? Why is that? For he has made all for their uses. His barakah covered the dry land as a river, and watered it as a flood. As he has turned the water salty, so shall the Gentiles inherit his wrath. As his ways are clear to the Kodesh, so they are stumbling blocks to the wicked. The good matters are created for the good from the beginning, so evil matters for sinners. The basic necessities for the whole use of man's life are water, fire, iron, and salt, flour of wheat, honey, milk, and the juice of grapes, and oil and garments. All these are for good to the righteous, so to the sinners they are turned to evil. There are spirits that are created for punishment, who in their wrath lay on many strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their strength, and appease the wrath of he who made them. Fire and hail and scarcity of food and death, all these were created for punishment. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. They shall rejoice in his command, and they shall be ready upon earth when needed. And when their time comes, they do not transgress his word. Therefore from the beginning I knew and thought upon these, and have left them in writing. All the works of Yahuwah are good, and he shall give all that is needed in due season, so that a man cannot say, this is worse than that. For in time they all shall be proved good. And therefore praise Yahuwah with all your heart and voice, and Barak the name of Yahuwah.